Hello and welcome to episode 34 of And No. If this is the first time that you're joining me here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome to you as well. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube, or on my website, And No. Now, And No are what I like to call God Nuggets, short podcasts that are released usually once per week, just to give you a bit of encouragement and hope throughout the rest of your week. Now, today, I'd like to talk a little bit about Moses because he has been on my mind a lot lately. And I think that there is a lot about his story that can resonate with each of us. So join me as we go on a bit of a journey and unpack this story together. Now, if you grew up in church, chances are that you have heard this story a lot. And it makes sense because the story of Moses truly is exceptional. But sometimes I think we can overlook or glaze over familiar stories. And I think it's important to have another look, a deeper dig into what we're familiar with, and see what truth God might be wanting to show us right now. Now, to provide a little bit of background on the story of Moses. His mother had to give up her son because Pharaoh wanted all of the Israelite boys killed. She placed him in a basket on the Nile River, only to be discovered by Pharaoh's own daughter. I mean, that in and of itself is a miracle. But Moses is rescued by her and grows up as royalty. His life seems pretty fantastic until he's older and he sees an Egyptian beating up a Hebrew. Moses goes and kills this Egyptian and hides the body in the sand. He thinks he's gotten away with it until the story comes to light and he has to flee the wrath of Pharaoh. Now he leaves this world behind and starts a brand new life. He marries, becomes a shepherd. His life seems pretty good. And while he has started over far away from Egypt, the lives of the Israelites are getting far worse. And the slavery that they are now in is crushing them. Now, that's a very brief recap. And if you're interested in reading it in more detail, head on over to the Old Testament and to the book of Exodus, chapter 2. But now our story or our podcast on Moses begins. Moses sees a bush that is on fire, but it isn't burning up. Obviously, he's curious and he approaches the bush. Take a listen to Exodus 3, verse 4. When the Lord saw that he, Moses, had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. This is my first observation. How may God be trying to get our attention today? Moses was going about his everyday life. He could have walked away from the bush, but he was drawn towards it. Moses made a choice to find out more. And I think that that's a great idea for you and I as well. We too need to make a choice to find out more. We may not have a burning bush in front of us to get our attention, but perhaps, just perhaps, God is trying to get our attention in another way. And the first step is to make the choice to move towards God. The next part is God telling Moses that he is standing on holy ground, and he tells Moses who he is. And this is where we need to park ourselves for just a bit. Now, our God truly is the one true God. He is the creator of everything and everyone. Yes, he loves you, and that is made evident by Jesus' death on the cross. Yes, he cares for you. There are so many verses that remind us of this promise. But he also has to be seen as holy, as sacred, as the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. So God telling Moses to take off his shoes, it isn't a power move. It's a see me for who I am move. And that sets the tone for the rest of their conversation. Actually, it sets the tone for the rest of the dialogue that they have together until Moses dies. So the second step is to simply see God for who he is. And when we have that right, then our focus and our posture towards God will be right as well. Now, what unfolds with the rest of this chapter is one of the conversations I just can't believe actually happened. Not because I don't believe that it actually took place, but rather the tone that Moses took with God. God is calling him to leave the wilderness and step into the presence of Pharaoh. Moses is standing before a burning bush that is talking to him, and he's hearing God's actual voice. But Moses really isn't buying into this idea and starts coming up with excuses. Exodus 3, verse 11. But Moses says to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" Now, I don't know about you, but I can totally resonate with Moses here. What if they don't believe me? Is it better not to say anything at all than to risk not being believed? Now, here's what I love about this conversation. God can handle Moses' doubts, and he can handle our doubts. He can handle our insecurities. God can handle our pride. God can handle all of us, as complex as you and I might be. You think God hasn't heard it all? He has. Think he hasn't seen it all? He has. Let's remind ourselves that Moses killed somebody and hid the body. So how does God respond to Moses' doubts? God tells him, I've got you. I'm there with you. And that's our third step. Bring your questions, your doubts, your fears, all of it to God. He is wanting you to lay it at his feet. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. So step 3 is for us to know that God sees us for who we are and he ain't scared of it. And know this childhood favorite Bible story is so layered with exceptional lessons for you and I to anchor ourselves to. Now, I promised you God nuggets in our podcast, and so I have to end today's podcast here. But I truly hope that this small portion of Moses' story, that these 3 steps will be exactly that. Steps for you to walk towards our God. Step 1 is to make the choice to move towards God. Step 2, see God for who he is. And step 3, know God sees us just as we are. I hope today's podcast was a blessing to you, and we'll see you next week.